A lot of young people on campuses, at our events, on my radio show, podcast, and social media. Said differently, I visit college campuses so you don't have to. We're talking to so many voters that know it is time for change. They know that something is wrong. America's future is a series of choices. Our current state of slow motion national decline is a choice. Today is our 2-year-old's birthday. And I look at my daughter, and that is my why. For those that are parents, you know exactly what I mean.
There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. There is no river that runs wide as your goodness.
Man, Charlie, I remember when we were starting these out, and
It was that, like that.
you know, it was like this. It was like your average
First 3 rows.
It was like your average political meeting where there's like 12 people in a room, and this is awesome.
This, in my personal opinion, was the most over-the-top Trump event that I've ever covered.
This is the #1 boots-on-the-ground operation in the country. We're working directly in harmony with the Trump campaign. It's been vetted, it's been cleared, it's been blessed, as you can see there, and we're going to try to win this thing. No guarantees. It's what we do that matters. Mr. President, I can tell you this room is 100% with you, and we have your back. God bless you. We really do. Thank you. As you know, we are heading on campus here momentarily at the University of South Florida, throwing it down with the students. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are excited to continue this cultural movement that we have started at Turning Point USA. More high school chapters, more college chapters, and disagreement is not just welcome, it is invited. We want to have those tough conversations. That's what it's all about. Because you're not supposed to be involved in this. You're supposed to just kind of be on the vote for me every 4 years, give me more political power, and stay out of my business. And what has happened is we are seeing an explosion in citizen participation.
There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy follows me. Oh, there is nothing else I'll ever need.
Knock on that extra door. Go that extra mile. Talk to that extra friend. Because throughout voting month and culminating on the 5th of November, I believe it will go down as a day that people remember, as a day that is written about in history books, as the final battle from the golden escalator on down, from defeating Hillary Clinton, from the nonsense of 2020, from Butler, Pennsylvania, November 5th, it all culminates where we restore the promise that the founders gave us. And they said, hey, if the people want it, the people get it. And we, the people, take back America. God bless Arizona, and thank you so much. Every day, the American people demand certain accomplishments and victories. Disagreement is what keeps a movement alive, keeps a movement fun. Here in this country, we are a country of flourishing. We're a country of risk-taking. We're a country of building. We will achieve American greatness, and we are just getting started.
All of my days, your mercy follows me.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are at the Charlie Kirk Show studio. I remember building this studio, and I remember designing it so Charlie would be here, and then he decided he liked it here better, so we flipped everything. And he had to have his Oregon Duck thing over there.
It was the original was a straight line.
Yeah, it was
right?
a straight. Well, this desk actually is modular, and so you can kind of fold it so that the two levels fold into one another, and it was just a desk, and it was supposed to be designed so that if you had guests, it could fold out. And
Right.
But he just liked it like this
Well, no,
all the time.
wasn't it? We did one of the election night streams or something, and we set up the V, and he just liked it.
He just liked it.
Left it.
And he just left it that way.
Well, I remember walking into, so the story of this complex is really interesting because we were in Chicago, we came over here, and we found this space because we wanted to have a building for Turning Point that was by itself.
Yeah.
And fast forward to, we had to go through and talk every single one of the people in this complex to sell the buildings. So I had to get on the phone with these guys, and luckily we had this incredible kid that was in real estate that helped, and we talked him into it. But I remember walking through this building for the first time, and this is a garage. This was actually a garage. So this was like a shop. Like they had like a bunch of machines and stuff in here, and they used to have all this equipment that was like hanging off, and we just started going through, just yanking stuff out. We're like, this will be the home for Charlie Kirk studio.
And I feel bad for the audience because I'm not sitting in Charlie's seat. You're seeing the profile shot of Tyler because he's looking at me when he's talking. So I apologize to the audience.
That's been everything on the show. That I'm always
you're always.
I'm always looking at Charlie
because that's Tyler's seat.
I know, and I kept telling the studio, I was
fat.
like, can we get that camera?
Andrew's pointing out this is a blocking violation for film and TV.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
So,
but we've kind of always done it. So,
Blake, and I'm going to ask. Let me ask you this when radio gets back on. But I was just talking with we took a quick bio break, as they call it in the business, and I was asking the team. I was like, "What do people want to hear right now?" And the whole team is out there in the bays, and they were like, "People want to hear stories about Charlie, and they want to see the behind-the-scenes stuff." And so I want us to share that with him and with the audience, our interactions with him. And I don't want to force you to start when we're going to be welcoming back national radio in about a minute. But that's there's that line in the Bible about Jesus where it says, there would be the writing of endless books about all the things that Jesus did. And
yes.
I feel like, not to compare Charlie to Jesus, but his life is like that, where if you compiled all the little things that he did, all the tens of thousands of people that he interacted with, there would be no end of the books that we could write about his life. And it's like so true. Like that's not even at like 31 years on this planet, and that's not even a hyperbolic thing to say. That's not me exaggerating. Is a really remarkable feat. And so, Blake, I'm going to go, we're just going to go around the table. I was just going to put you on the hot seat first, so it wasn't me. But we're going to welcome back our national radio audience that Charlie loves so much in about 20 seconds. So hang tight, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. This is your host for the day, Andrew Colvett, executive producer of this fine show. To those of you listening around the country, we're honoring our friend and the host of this show, Charlie Kirk. And it's his friends, the people that work closely with him to make this show, to make so much of the content, that are gathered around this table in his studio. His chair is empty because nobody will ever be able to fill it. But we wanted a chance to tell you about the Charlie Kirk that we know and that we got to see up close. And we have Jack Posobiec, the great Jack Posobiec, the great Blake Neff, and the great Tyler Boyer, all gathered with myself, Andrew Colvett, executive producer. Our team is telling us that people want to hear more personal stories that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't know Charlie. So Blake, the floor is yours. Tell us a story about Charlie that you think people would like to hear or that I haven't heard yet.
Man, I'm thinking of a few things. Personal stuff. I think one of the things that always impressed me about Charlie was his immense personal discipline about everything he did. He had, his day was very ordered, everything he did was very ordered, and he didn't deviate from that. And if you, asked him about that, he'd be like, well, this is the smart thing to do. Why would I do something different? And the thing I'd always tease him about is the number of foods he ate, which is about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I would joke about this, and I'm not exaggerating. The variation of food Charlie ate was like grilled chicken, avocado, hot sauce, like cabbage,
he wasn't
lettuce,
always like that. Like this
salmon, I guess. And I think he used to have beef, but I think he later decided red meat was probably
Tyler,
more on the bad
when did
than
he
good
start
side.
doing that? He said it was like a couple years ago that he said he wanted to get back in fighting shape or something.
Yeah.
And
Charlie, as long as I've known Charlie, has always been very focused on what he puts inside his body.
Yes.
From day one. I remember, because when I first met Charlie, I was skinny, and then I got, dad fat.
Less
whatever.
skinny.
you got your road layer.
I got dad fat. I put on the pregnancy weight a few times throughout that cycle. And then-
Campaign 30.
but Charlie was always, and he would always kind of yell at me, and Andrew, I'm probably sure you had some of these situations. Blake probably hasn't, but never got yelled at for what he eats. But he would be like, because I would like pound sodas, and I was like, oh yeah, and then it caught up with me. of
I was
course.
like Charlie's sin eater because I eat everything.
But he would eat like piles of singular foods. So it would be like stacks of broccoli. He would order that, like steamed broccoli, or he would order just meat, right? It would just be like meat, and then he would pound through it. It would eat like as we're talking, like we didn't have time to waste as we were going. It would just eat. Later in life, I think he enjoyed meals a little bit more. But the early was like we were going. He was always in the travel, ready to go, and he would just eat. And I would just sit there and be like, because I would order like a normal sandwich and like drink a drink, but he would just eat to eat. But it was always healthy, and he would always be like, "You're gonna eat that?" Like he would look at me like, "You're gonna eat that? You're gonna put that?"
I actually remember, I think the night, I'm pretty sure we were all there too. It was the night of the RNC when he gave his speech there, not the 620, but the 24. And I think, I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he have like a couple of chicken wings? And he like made a huge deal about it.
He had a couple, and we had like a huge pile.
Yeah, we had a
of them.
huge
it was
pile
a
of stuff.
cartoonishly vast pile. of
But it was like
chicken
each, as Tyler was saying, like each box was a separate food. And then we had a whole bunch of chicken wings that we were all just chowing down on. And he goes, I will allow myself to have a few.
Well,
and that was like
he would
huge.
He would find something he liked, and early on he used to say this all the time. He'd be like, "You could build a religion around those things." Yeah. Have you ever heard that?
He said that so many
Have you ever heard him
times.
say that?
Yes.
We could build a religion around this.
You could have a religion around this
When he
thing.
found a food he liked, he'd be like,
Yeah.
"You could build a religion around this
Yeah.
thing or that
Yeah.
thing or whatever."
But it's like the first time he's eating it.
but no, it would, no, it would be. It'd be like, I'd be like, oh, I mean, I think it's
These are great. These chicken wings.
you could build a
It's like,
religion.
yeah, Charlie,
around
we
this
know.
thing. I think
but-
I heard Charlie say that no short of like 500 times.
There's certain set phrases that were just like the Charlie phrases, and when you say them, you could just hear it in his voice because that's the only guy who talks that way.
What about you, Jack? Do you have a fun Charlie story that you think the audience hasn't heard or would like to hear?
Oh man, look, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just private, so that's like, how do you steep through that? I'll tell the story that from last year though, that I think is just kind of a funny thing. So Charlie worked so hard on these campus tours that people don't realize that he worked himself sick last year, and there were, I don't know, 2-3 weeks where he had no voice. He completely lost his voice out there on the campus tours, the campaigns, between everything. He was traveling so much and just picking up whatever germs and bugs and all the rest. And obviously with his health regimen and that he did what he could, but sometimes it just kind of doesn't work that way. And I remember we had talked about, and he was like, "Hey Jack, you're a Pennsylvania guy. We're doing this Penn State. I think it's going to be big. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll see if it works out with the schedule, etc." And then a couple days before the event, the day before the event, he sends me this text and says, "Jack, we need to talk." So we need to talk. I lost my voice. So then I call him, and he immediately hangs up, and he texts me back, and he said, "Jack, I can't talk. I lost my voice. I can only text." Yeah. And so he's like, I need you up here. And so I get up to Penn State, and the entire time we're there, and I'm with him, we're spending time, and he's like sending me text messages or just writing stuff on his phone.
And you're like right next to him.
Yeah, and he's like showing it, and I'm like saying it or tweeting it or whatever it is. And then as we're about to go, we have this whole thing set up, and there's thousands of kids. I mean, 5,000 maybe, because I know we brought
it was insane.
I know we brought
sea of red hats.
We brought 30,000 hats, but then we ran out, and like only about half of the kids had hats. So that's why I know it was double.
You would not believe the number of hats that Turning Point bought and still managed to run out.
And
it was insane.
And then the campus ended up shutting down the speakers anyway.
That many boxes. I want to just
we just threw out hats.
It was so many like the logistics of getting that many hats is actually to each campus was actually a marvel in and of itself. And you're reminding me of go ahead. I don't know if you had something you wanted to add, Tyler.
No, I was just going to say that the miracle of the organization of Turning Point being able to do all those things is what enabled so much of Charlie Kirk, right? Charlie wanted to be enabled all the time with every little crazy idea that he had. I would call him Charlie Kirk wild goose chases, like with stuff. It would just be like constant stuff, right? And it was just like trying to channel where those things would go, but the enabling of the staff to do the things that needed to be done, because Charlie was almost always right on these things. He was always right on.
He was annoyingly almost always right.
Almost always right.
And when you got one that was right, you
were like,
you would make
yes,
a mental note and be like, because it was 99 to 1.
But where he wanted to go with everything was always right, and he knew he had the vision, and the people who helped execute that deserve a ton of credit. Every person, every kid. I look at the videos from the campus tours. Every one of our activists that is there, that's volunteering to help hold microphones, to standing in the gap there, especially in such scary times as where we're at today. They have been such incredible warriors, and that honors Charlie so much.
Yeah, we have this. Let's go ahead and play. We have just enough time. This is Charlie eating with chopsticks in Japan with Blake, 479.
Oh gosh.
Is it like a big thing? Yeah, of course. Am I doing it okay?
Yeah, perfect.
This is noto.
Why is it so gooey?
Soybean.
It's very good.
It's so gooey.
It's very gooey.
Why is it so gooey?
Because it's fermented, I think. Right.
That's great.
It's very good for you.
Blake, I remember you and I were on a chat when this was happening, or moments after it happened, and he was like, "There was literally 11 dishes in this thing. It was amazing. Oh, the Japanese food. I mean,
you can build a religion around this.
Yeah, religion. People don't realize like how he would just get fixated on.
Yes, I would just love
like that.
How he would like interrogate me about things, because Charlie loved to learn things, loved to pick new things up, and yet he was also so busy all of the time. So he would send me on. He's like, Blake, you have to learn all about this thing so that you can just tell me about it when I need to learn about it later. So I'll go read a 300-page book about this so that I can just be ready when Charlie interrogates me. I remember once on a flight, it was like an hour, and he's just like, Blake, tell me about the Roman Empire. I'm like, the start or the end? He's like, whatever you want. And just started going off about that.
I also asked you about that. Blake is a very good resource if you want to learn about the Roman Empire.
And he was very, sometimes he would ask Mikey, he would be like, Mikey, just ask ChatGPT to make some trivia questions, and then let's just see if Blake can get them. And he was very proud that, he's like, okay, Blake, I'm going to lose to you on, history. I'm going to probably lose to you on geography. But he was very proud that he was competitive with me on, biblical stuff, because he was he loved to study the Bible, book by book. He was really into that. He was very, very proud of that. And he was right. He was better at Bible trivia than I was.
Actually, that's something I could share, and I'm sure we all could, that, late night, whatever it is, people would say, well, what is Charlie like in off air? He would be constantly going through books of the Bible, and then he would send you, some file or a podcast or something and be like, Jack, I just did this 5-hour course on the book of Deuteronomy. You need to go through all 5 hours and come back to me with it.
Yeah.
And not even for the show. Just
I have a story like this actually from recent. We were in Aspen doing an investor summit. And it was an amazing trip, and we had a Cambridge professor who was actually, we played that the last live, it was a pre-record, but it was like the last radio live hour, before he started speaking at campus. And it was with Dr. James Orr. He's an amazing Cambridge professor. And he flew back from Aspen, and Charlie was like, what are you doing tomorrow? And James was like, well, I don't fly out until Monday, and it was a Sunday. So Charlie was like, well, do you want to have breakfast with us, and we'll do our morning worship, and then I'll pick you up, and can you just like teach me all day? And James was like, what, you just want to do class? And he's like, yeah, like I just want to do class. And so they sat in a room, and Charlie peppered him with questions. And you have to understand, Dr. James Orr not only sees the world similarly the way we do, but he has like a photographic memory of the classical Western canon, of all the texts that make up the Western. He can remember almost page and verse of all of these great books, and he can connect them, how they relate to now, and where we got this word, and how it evolved from this. And so Charlie was gathering this three-dimensional understanding of the Latin and the Greek, and how it made up European history, which gave birth to America, obviously the Western canon. But that was Charlie's idea of a Sunday well spent. And I remember being so jealous.
Yeah, that's a day off for Charlie.
That was a day off. I remember being so jealous because I had to go back home. I had to catch a flight Sunday morning to get back home. And I got to be with my family, and it was great. And that's where I should have been. But Charlie got to spend the day with his family and learning from one of the great minds in Christendom. And it was amazing. That was Charlie in a nutshell. It's weird things that I remember right now. Charlie walking around all the time with he'd wear shorts on planes with his tall socks.
Yeah.
So he always it was
the tall
socks.
The tall socks. No, it improves circulation. Andrew.
He would always talk to me about this. He's like, it's a thing for tall people, Jack. It's compression socks. You wear them on planes. The pressure. He had it all it was all systemized and choice.
No joke.
Decision made.
A week ago, when I was actually flying out to Korea for our thing, I was like, okay, I've got to see if there's something to this. And I just put on socks, and I pulled them all the way up. And I wore them for about half the day. And then I thought, this is way too annoying, and I slid them back down.
Well, he would say it's because you're not tall enough.
But you probably did have really good circulation.
Maybe.
He was right most of the time. We're going to welcome back radio. And keep remembering stories about Charlie, and there's just too much to tell about this great man, and it's fun to think about him. I have a story from Danny in just a second. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Colvett, Jack Posobiec, Blake Neff, and Tyler Boyer. We're remembering our friend Charlie Kirk, our brother, who belongs to history now. and a pure legendary man. And I'm so honored to be sharing with you. And so the way these things work, we just go wave after wave of emotion. And I wanted to read something that Danny on the team, Danny's a young guy. Charlie loved Danny so much. And Danny's quiet, doesn't always say a whole lot, but when he speaks, you better listen because he's been thinking about it for a long time. And Danny he's shared this with me. I hope it's okay. I think it is. He says, Charlie's story. Last year when I was living out here interning, I was living in the hood off of GCU campus. Charlie found out and goes, okay, you're going to either live at my apartment or at my in-laws. And he's like, I convinced him I would be fine, and I stayed where I was for a few months. He was one of the kindest people I've ever met. And I love that story because somehow this was true about Charlie, that he was balancing huge organizations, 1,000 relationships, donors, friends, the show, politicians, other organizations. He had all these plates spinning in his head all the time, and he would somehow find time to worry about my well-being. Or is your wife and kids, are they going to come? Do you need me to set them up with something? Can I get them here? Are you okay? Do you want me to put you at this hotel? Like his brain was just always moving and spinning, and he was always thinking about other people and their well-being. And how many stories I heard of that, Tyler? I mean, right? It's like you saw it in the organizational feats of Turning Point, how he would think about the speaker coming in to make sure they were all taken care of. And he had it built into the schedule that he had to go backstage to meet so-and-so at such a time because he wanted to just say thanks for coming. And the intricacy of his mind and the details he was able to hold all at one time, truly amazing.
One of the things that I just keep seeing over and over is everyone telling the stories of how they got introduced to Charlie. And I've received, again, thousands of messages. I can't even respond back. I know Andrew feels the same. All of us probably feel the same. Jack is a savant at keeping up with people. I don't know how he does it, but I just can't even keep up. So I'm not even going to try. So I apologize. But everything I keep seeing over and over is, Tyler, I know you were close to Charlie. I didn't know him personally, but I want you to know how I was introduced to Charlie. And 9 times out of 10, you know what the answer is? One of my kids turned me on to Charlie. They showed me Charlie. And this is like, this kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with what you're talking about. It's always shocking to me how, again, the Charlie Kirk phenomenon, how he led his life, how everything just ultimately ended up, in front of people. And for so many young people, again, and that's the mission of Turning Point. Turning Point, we're trying to get young people involved and engaged. But to not only see young people getting involved and engaged and loving Charlie and being interested in his content, whether it's TikToks to all the way through long form podcast, is that they were taking their parents, in most cases, old Gen Xers or baby boomers, and saying, you need to listen to this, or grandparents. And it's so interesting to me, and this is the legacy that has to carry on in such a profound way, is that young people can be the spur, they can be the dynamics, they can be the activating element. And Charlie was right. No one believed this, by the way, when we started. There was no one. And Charlie would get that face, when he would tell you, he'd get excited because he'd be like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And he'd get that voice in his...
He literally took on the hardest,
the
hardest job. At the time,
lines.
it was unfathomable, and it was like, you have chosen potentially the dumbest career mission imaginable.
Obama-era college campuses, guys, you don't understand. That is the definition of the belly of the beast. And where we are today is where young people are carrying on their shoulders the Charlie Kirk voice to the older generation in a lot of cases. And I'm so... that I never have really spent time thinking about that. I mean, I know it, and we're really excited about it because I do that with my parents and grandparents. But it's been so rewarding to see. And if Charlie could sit here and read all these messages that I'm receiving that are saying that exact thing, he would be ecstatic. And we used to send those in the chat all the time. But I actually have some breaking news. I don't know if I should share it or not, but I'm going to. It looks like the Cubs are going to be recognizing Charlie today.
God bless him. I
So-
don't even want to tell that story. I can't tell that story.
But they should have
Glad they are.
They should have a.
It's very important to Charlie.
He loved the Cubs. His grandma was a lifelong Cubs fan, and she got to see the Cubs win the World Series, and then passed away. And Charlie was like, she lived to see like that, the greatest thing as a sports fan for her, and that meant a lot.
Because no one thought it was ever going to happen.
Radio will be back, and streaming will keep going. Welcome back to our stream. Yeah, Charlie loved the Cubs. Loved the Bears too, but it was a little bit harder to be a Bears fan.
I actually was.
It was hard to be a Cubs fan a lot of the time.
Do you remember one of the last chats that we had? We were just, because on.
By the way, that picture right there that's up on screen, that was really recent.
A couple weeks ago, right?
I was with him.
Yeah,
and we went to that game. And there's that's a picture with the Cubs team, and then those, all these haters online tried to like shame that player. I forget his name, but he lives in Phoenix as well, and it's the third baseman. Hit a home run that day, I think just for Charlie, which was like amazing. And I actually have a couple pictures from that day. So go ahead, Jack. I was
just going to say on Sundays, especially, people don't realize how big of a sports fan Charlie was. And on Sundays, the group chat would turn into basically whatever game he was watching.
Yeah, and just, one of our last things was just busting his balls about the Bears.
And the Bears
joking
game,
away.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because I was scrolling through.
Actually, that's a story people would like.
I was scrolling through, and
Charlie was so focused, and it was always that we would have, America Fest is right before Christmas, and that's when the bowl games are ramping up.
Right.
And I think even maybe some of the playoff games were going on this last year. I can't remember what the schedule was, but he wanted to see what was going on.
He was mad. What game was it? He was mad that he wouldn't be able to watch a game in real time because.
But we would literally
have
we have the big stage at AmFest, and then behind it is our kind of command center or green room.
Yeah.
And there's a table, and Charlie had a place he could sit. And he had a TV monitor set up to be showing one of these football games, and he's just sitting there like watching it during his literal 2 minutes of downtime before the next thing at AmFest, and he'd have his bowl with his chicken and lettuce that he was able to eat.
And his hot sauce.
He'd just be sitting there watching
food.
it really intensely, and I'd walk by. He's like, "Blake, come here, come on, let's watch a game, Blake." I'm like, "Okay, Charlie."
Please put this B-roll up. Just don't play the sound on it because I haven't reviewed it for anything. I never shared this, but this was just from a couple weeks ago. That's me filming, and Charlie and Erica, and we went out. That was the first time Charlie got to walk out into Wrigley Field, onto the field right there. It was before the game, and it was so awesome. And the ivy Field right there, and this is Charlie, of course, looking back, give me the thumbs up. And man, we had just a heck of a time getting into the stadium because there was all these security barriers, but they'd arranged it with us beforehand to let Charlie get right up close, so that he could just kind of get out of the car and get on there onto the field. And this was his childhood favorite team, the Cubbies. He's got his Cubs hat. I kept wanting to get him one of the new era, or like the actual field hats.
No, he would never do it.
But he liked his little like low profile one, and it was the one he wore. I think that's the same Cubs hat he wore at Student Action Summit when he was doing the Prove Me Wrong with the students there. And it was just so fun. It was so fun.
He wanted to walk on that field his whole life.
Yeah. He wanted to be. He loved that field and that stadium.
We had, this is way back in the day, but we had actually taken. We used to have our headquarters in Chicago, so it was a ways out from Chicago. And I remember at the early time, this is like right after we had made some changes to really grow Turning Point USA. We did a team builder at the Cubs Stadium at Wrigley Field. And so Charlie and I had driven over to the Cubs, to Wrigley, very difficult to park. You have to like basically just park in people's garages and things like that. But we took all of the staff there, and it was at the time I think we have like 20 people, and I remember we're just there. And we're sitting, and he just nonstop would be talking about to everybody how, because we had staff from all over the country at the time, just different places, about how great the Cubs were, how much he loved them, and you knew from that moment how much that mattered to Charlie. And there are a few things that were like Chicago boy things. I mean, he loved Chicago. He told me, Tyler, Chicago's the greatest city on planet Earth. I'm never gonna leave. And I was really nervous, you know, when we.
But then you were instrumental in him falling in love with Phoenix.
He's really
Arizona.
a Chicago boy at heart.
He is.
And the Wrigley, the Cubs, everything else was such a big part of the things that he loved.
All right, we're going to welcome back radio in just a second. Don't go anywhere. More with the crew, remembering Charlie Kirk. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show, radio stations across the country. Your guest host, Andrew Colvett, in for the one and only Charlie Kirk. Right here in his studio in Phoenix, Arizona. His seat is empty because we are honoring one of the greatest people any of us will ever meet, a legend, an icon, a martyr, a man who lifted up God above all. His faith in Jesus Christ was the most important thing to him. And then it was his family, Erica, his two beautiful kids. And then it was the country and Turning Point and everything that our founders built. And I'm just realizing, Jack and Tyler and Blake, that how much I've been changed by this person. It was funny, even while we were starting the show, and it didn't occur to me while I was doing it. And so I hope it didn't come off as some like fake like emulation. But I was sitting here going like, "Hey, send so and so in. Hey, send so and so in." And then like I remember that's what Charlie would do before the show.
Right.
It was always like, da-da-da-da, and it's like, I don't think I'm going to fully understand how much I've been affected and transformed and changed by Charlie. And I don't think I'll ever fully understand it.
Because you're not purposefully doing it like Charlie.
No,
it's
it was
just Charlie's
like,
imprint.
We were so saturated with so much Charlie Kirk at all times that.
No, the way I put it was like people ask you, what about this question? What about this question? Would Charlie wanted this? Would Charlie wanted that? And it's like I can hear him in a way, like not like he's speaking to me, but it's just, if you know him, you kind of know what he would say.
Yeah.
You know, you almost know, not unlike, certain things, but just little basic things. You just, well, that's what Charlie would say this. Well, Charlie would say this. Charlie would do this. And you just know. You just know that that's what he would have wanted. And it's weird because, talking to everybody throughout all of this, it's, even having heard that Erica said that she wanted the cameras on and wanted this up, I know that's exactly what Charlie would have wanted. That he would say, get on the stream, get the rumble up.
It's almost like we are the large language model for Charlie Kirk, because we've had so much input from this person.
Well, I mean, that's what a life is, right? When you know somebody.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They imprint on you.
People didn't give Charlie enough credit for how funny he was.
Charlie could be hilarious.
Charlie was funny, but it was his own very distinct brand of it. Because he was so distinctly Charlie and so rigidly Charlie Kirk, when he would kind of come, he would do that look when he go, but he would make, oh man, the plane rides were the best.
We would just get on topics.
Yes.
There were topics, and it would almost kind of turn into, the best way to describe Charlie Kirk's humor is probably Seinfeld.
He loves Seinfeld.
I've been only watching Seinfeld.
Charlie
I've needed it to fall asleep the last couple nights.
He loves
Seinfeld.
But it was like kind of these weird, funny, just like situational things with personalities involved, where it's like we would kind of talk about those things, and it would be like, well, what's this guy doing, and that's that, and like isn't it funny how this is connected, that's connected, and it was like kind of smart humor, but it's like that's the very in real life reality show type.
He was a good
but like
storyteller
Seinfeld,
too,
yeah.
And I almost feel bad that so many of the funniest ones you can't tell because it's
can't.
private information. But when he could actually tell you something, him relating it secondhand was
I'll
so
give you
funny.
I'll
so
give you a
often.
good Seinfeld moment from Charlie Kirk's life, and I think about this all the time, and I don't know why it just sticks with me. So Charlie and I were going back and forth to LA for like every week for like a year. There's a reason for it. It was crazy. It was stupid, but my life got like completely uprooted, and I was going to LA every week. So the horrible part about this is that we had to find LAX, and LAX is like a third world country. And it just is. And like you just and again, for people who have patience, you can probably get through LAX. Charlie Kirk cannot. And we were flying just back and forth. And so one day we cut it really close on the Uber that we were going back to LAX, and you get in the loop around LAX.
It's like a horseshoe.
And if it's stopped,
And there's
stopped.
like that Uber spot where you have to.
But you're so close to the terminal, but you're really not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
are you talking about just as you enter the airport?
no,
Or
just
as
the
you're
horseshoe. So
I
as
just
you're going
bounce.
around, but if
Sometimes
it's packed,
No, sometimes you can just bounce and then you can run faster than going through it.
People who don't know LAX, that's a total
That's what
thing
you
where
do.
you're stuck in your Uber outside the airport, and you can see the whole string of cars, and people are getting out running
Just
in.
But you can cut across the thing.
You can,
the
because it's a
garage.
horseshoe, and in the
Yes.
middle they have parking, and there's some pathways you can actually cut right in through. Yeah.
So, anyways, this guy,
I know LAX way
this
too well.
guy
I
was
know
dropping.
exactly what you mean. I've done.
This guy was dropping us off, and he wasn't communicating very well, and we're going through, and we're that basically scenario played out, and he's like, oh well, it's just right up here, it's right up there, and we just kept going and going and going. He's like, and I just remember the guy had messed up and then missed. He cut through the middle because there's a kind of a road through the middle, and actually missed. He's like, oh, we're gonna have to go back and do this all over again. And we just flew open the doors. He's like, this is crazy. And like, he just like looked at the guy. He's like, this is actually crazy. And we like grabbed our stuff out of the car. And we're like having to walk across the airport. But I just rings in my ear the whole time because the guy was like, oh no, it's fine. I do this all the time. But the interaction between Charlie and this guy and us trying to get into the airport,
You
is
can
like
almost hear the
Oh yeah. It's like,
he
this is
loved this
crazy.
clip, by the way. He actually thought that Seinfeld had really profound, like deeper, like parallels. He thought it basically
does.
thought our entire modern world could be. There was going to be a Seinfeld episode that that mocked and parodied that what we're experiencing now, and so he loved this ribbon clip. So let's just go ahead and play the ribbon clip if we have it. I don't know what number. It doesn't have a number, but it's the ribbon clip.
You're checked in?
Yeah, thank you.
Here's your AIDS ribbon.
No thanks.
You don't want to wear an AIDS ribbon?
No.
But you have to wear an AIDS ribbon.
I have to?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't want to.
But everyone wears the ribbon. You must wear the ribbon.
What you are? You're a ribbon bully.
Hey, you, come back here. Come back here and put this on.
Hey, where's your ribbon? Oh, I don't wear the ribbon.
You don't wear the ribbon?
Who do you think you are?
Put the ribbon on.
Hey, Cedric, Bob, this guy won't wear a ribbon.
Who? Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
And remember, Charlie loved this because it was the parallel to the Black Square during George Floyd, and this coercive, you have to put it up, and if you don't, you're guilty. And that was just one instant of Charlie using Seinfeld as, and I'll never forget. He always brings Eric Metaxas on the show, and the first thing he does when Eric Metaxas comes on, and he'll make like a inside Seinfeld joke reference because Eric loves Seinfeld as well, and it's a beautiful thing.
Man, it's just watching that clip. Charlie loved that clip. Like, Charlie loved saying that line.
You must wear the ribbon.
Like,
yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna miss joking around with him so much. That's.
How did you get him to wear this hat? This is hilarious. Tyler.
This is my greatest moment, by the way.
Tyler got him to wear this hat. Put this hat up. I can't believe I forgot you got him to wear that.
The one thing that I feel.
Oh yeah, this was the.
I feel
captain,
happiest
right?
about is
Cruising
I was
captain?
able to get Charlie to do crazy things for a long time. Again, for that, but We had these hats that said precinct sheriff on them.
Sheriff, yeah.
Because we're focused on recruiting for precincts, and this is how serious about it. And Charlie was very serious about chapters, and on our political side, we talked about precincts and getting everyone involved in the precinct level. And so I was like, Charlie, if you're serious about this, you got to wear this. And we, I think we wore them for a thought crime episode.
Yeah, everybody had to wear a
that's what
hat. I think Charlie probably took that off pretty quickly, but it was great that he was always a good sport like that.
No, he had it on. He had it on for quite a bit of the episode.
Charlie was always a good sport, actually. And what?
It's like the South Park. Like they didn't understand the South Park.
We found the clip 477. I think this is Rush Limbaugh talking. Oh, well, maybe not. We'll find the clip. It's 2.5 minutes of Rush talking about Charlie. I'm going to play it before this show is out because this show is the Charlie Kirk show, and Rush Limbaugh inspired Charlie to pursue this line of work. There's no question about it. That's not me speculating. I know for sure that's why.
Yep.
And so I'm going to play the Rush Limbaugh clip because they were both two men that we lost way, way too early, and I'm pretty sure that was the clip. I just saw it. And Rush saw, it's 477. Let's go ahead and play it.
They brought Charlie Kirk to the golf course to meet me about a month ago. He was in town to set up this turning point thing. And they brought him to the golf course to meet me. It was we were getting ready for a 8:45 a.m. start. And they brought him out while I was getting ready to go to the range to loosen up. And I spoke with him for about a half hour. And he told me how he grew up in a home where my program was on all the time. He was just effusively complimentary to me, which I, of course, understood and told him he's very wise. His family's very wise. He chuckled. He laughed. This is the kind of guy that you can see really becoming big in politics as he gets older. He just has the courage, the personality, the charisma. You may think this sounds weird, but I remember when Bill Clinton became president, there were all of these stories about Bill Clinton at Oxford and Bill Clinton at Yale and Bill Clinton here and all these people who went to school with him. There was story after story after story where people were saying that they just knew Bill Clinton was going to be president someday. In college, he just had that kind of ambition, and he impressed people. And I'm telling you that people are saying the same things about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Rush saw it, and Rush knew, and Rush didn't want people to know this. And then we asked Catherine after he passed, and she said it was okay to share that Rush was a 7-figure donor to Turning Point, and because he believed so much in Charlie and what he was building and the mission of Turning Point USA. And I want all of you to rest assured that are wondering what's next. Turning Point USA is not going anywhere. The mission that Charlie started, he always wanted it to be an institution that would outlive him. And we obviously wanted so much more time with him, but that was very clear. That was spoken of expressly. And I know all of us are ready to get to work on that. So radio, we're going to take a break. Stream, we're going to keep going. Be right back. All right, welcome back to Real America's Voice, the stream. We're honored by all our partners at Real America's Voice who believed in this show. And they've always been so supportive, by the way. They would send crews halfway around the world to have our back. Rob Sig, Parker Sig, we love you guys. You know what you mean to us. And I've talked with both of you in the moments after and since. And Jack, I know you work with them directly as well. And your show's coming up next, and we're going to keep going for...
Yeah, but I'm not... Just
It'll be the Charlie Kirk
We're going
show
to do
today.
this. We're just going to continue this.
Yeah. Anyways, we love them, and there's so many people that we should remember and thank.
There's thousands and
thousands. We're not gonna. This probably is not the show to do that, just because it's impossible, and we're gonna forget too many people. But I just can't tell you how many people believed in Charlie and gave us a shot. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna. Daisy, do I have my permission? Do I have your permission to read this? All right, so this is from Daisy Phelps. Daisy, she was originally Daisy Dibley when she joined us, and she got married, and now she's expecting her first child, and we love Daisy. She, we were joking, Tyler. You were like, my life was really hard, and then you came along, and then I was like, yeah, and then my life was really hard. You were like, I felt bad. I didn't want to tell you like how much easier my life got when I came around. And my life was really hard until Daisy Dibley came around, and now Daisy Phelps.
100%.
And then Blake, candidly, changed everything as well. I'm trying to make sure I got my show clock right here. So this is from Daisy, who would do Charlie's makeup and make sure his eyebrows, because he had these crazy eyebrows. Like he had like 60-year-old eyebrows at 27. Like they would just spark up like this, and I was like, Daisy, make sure his eyebrows are like his hair. He had this crazy mop that would just fight you, and Daisy got really good at kind of putting it all together. And Daisy also ran his Instagram account and so much more.
So much.
She did so much around here. She said, Charlie was a force, a believer, a patriot. He was my friend. I've had the privilege of speaking to him every day for the last 4 years, and I can't tell you that I've ever known someone with more integrity. He was exactly who he said he was, except better. There wasn't one thing that was fake or fabricated. He believed in what he said, and he lived out what he believed. He loved Jesus more than anyone. The truest thing about him was his belief in God. He was constantly researching new ways to defend the gospel and making sure we all knew them. It was that important to him. I can still hear him say, "Good morning, sports fans," coming into our studio every morning. I can still hear the worship music coming out of his office. I and everyone in the building was watching. I can still hear the Cubs games he'd turn on all the TVs to make sure everyone in the building was watching. I can still hear his kids running to hug him during breaks. He not only took a chance on me at 21 years old, but he pushed me, trusted me, and listened to me. Our show was everything to us. We lived and breathed the Charlie Kirk Show because we believed in it. We still do. He consistently raised the bar for everyone on our team by first raising it for himself every day. He saw greatness in you, and he brought it out by first being great himself. Just being around him, being in the background, made you want to fight harder. He was ecstatic when I told him I was pregnant. He made sure to ask about the baby every day. He wanted to see every ultrasound, and when we found out it was a girl, he yelled, "I told you!" My faith is completely different had I never met Charlie. My career, my adult life, my marriage, from watching the way he loved Erica, everything is different had I never met him. I'll never be the same, and I wouldn't want to be. If there was one thing to know about Charlie, it's that he loved Jesus. He is with God. He spent so much time learning about and teaching others about. Well, welcome back, radio. All right. It's the last segment of the live Charlie Kirk show on the Friday after September 10th. And
9/10.
We just miss him. And I know we're all very honored to be here. We're going to keep going for another hour, Jack, and at least. And I'd like to have an opportunity for people in the audience to call in and tell their stories and how they remember Charlie. So I want to do that. So I don't know if we're planning on doing that today. I think we probably should just keep going. And so let's make sure the studio's ready to do that in a little bit. But go ahead, Tyler.
Andrew, there's a few people too, and again, it's really important. Again,
Yes, please.
This is not
Yes.
not the show to everybody, because there's so many people who are influential, but there's a few people who are so dear to Charlie that I know of that that just loved him to pieces. Mike Miller, who's been one of our longtime board members, is like a father figure to Charlie. And in fact, he's one of the individuals who has been there from really day one. When I met Charlie, he was a big game hunter, Africa, everything else. But he's a big jeweler in Illinois. He's from Barrington, Illinois, and he's so American. The guy, his address, I think, for his jewelry shop is 123 Main Street or something. So, and I've slept at his house. Like this
Mike's
is
great, man.
Incredible, man.
Love Charlie. Love Charlie so much.
Love Charlie so much. But this is, I mean, there are people that were so influential. Our board members, we have so many incredible board members, but Doug DeGroot, for example, has just been there, has been a rock and a stalwart for Charlie. Tom Sadeka, who is going through some health things, and we're praying for him every single day. I mean, there's just so many people, and those early people, especially the Chicagoans that were there, who believed in Charlie. Bill Montgomery, who was one of the first kind of in Bill's enigmatic energy, was like a Tea Party guy that wanted to just show Charlie to everyone. And it was many people like that who gave the way, that enabling of Charlie Kirk to be introduced to the world. And if you're one of those people, and I didn't name you, I'm so sorry. We'll get there. David's there,
on the board.
Obviously Rob McCoy, so many others that have been so close. All of our board members, truly, Jeff Webb, others, that you took Charlie around to expose him to the world, to others. We're just thinking about you so much today, because you did this, and you remember, and there were literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people who
Rebecca Dunn,
who did
Stacey
that.
Feinberg. These people were just champions of Charlie.
Ed Zeman, so many.
We shouldn't start, because we're gonna miss people that really.
But I want to
Foster Freeze.
Foster, I guarantee you, Foster was waiting right there for him when he came out. We were sharing pictures of Foster. I remember sitting with Foster actually just right before he passed, in the Trump Hotel in D.C., and he scolded me. He was always scolding, for, giving that advice, that to Charlie, to me, to anyone that would listen. And he loved Charlie. Everyone has loved Charlie so much.
I just also want to say thanks, just in these few final moments of the live show. And again, we're going to keep going, but we want to thank all the Phoenix PD that has been stalwart, and just from a security standpoint, cops blocking off roads, making sure our staff was safe, making sure these buildings were safe, making sure all the families felt safe going home and coming in. The buildings are closed for all intents and purposes, and that's great. That's fine for right now. The first responders at the scene, we want to thank them. Thank Charlie's personal security detail. You cannot imagine how tough that was for them. And I really love those guys, and they love Charlie. You got to believe me that if anybody loved Charlie, and had his back and was the warriors by his side, it was those guys. Dan and Brian, you guys are the best.
Incredible.
Incredible.
We've known Dan from the very, very beginning. There is not a person that loves Charlie Kirk more
absolutely
than Dan.
Would have taken a bullet for Charlie. And the PD at the vigils, I know that there's just we're running out of time. We have 25 seconds left here before we lose radio.
We love you a lot, Dan.
Charlie loved being on radio, and so there's a radio audience listening all across the country. Just know that Charlie was inspired by Rush. Rush believed in Charlie. And Charlie took this medium to the next level, and he was rewarded with it in ratings and the performance of the show and all of your amazing belief in it. Thank you so much.